What's up, viewers, subscribers, and agents alike? This your boy Enlightened Luciferian Prince coming at you once again with an upload. I know I haven't uploaded in a few days. You follow what I'm saying? Been busy, but I'm back, and I'm back on my mathematics. I got my Georgia gear on. You feel me? You know what I mean? At Bulldog, you feel what I'm saying? Flip flopped out like we rock and roll, rock and roll. And when y'all get back on the field, you make sure when y'all go to Gainesville, you take them out. Take them out. And make sure you hit number 11 and number 5. Only people who know about sports will know what I'm talking about. But long story short, anywho, what I'm doing today is a different video, different concept, different subject. With what's going on today in society, a lot of people are disillusioned, or what I should say, misillusioned, because they're not really fully aware or cognizant of what's really taking place in the world. But for me to give you somewhat of a picture of a figurative idea, I'm going to give you something that's a secret knowledge. And this is a fact, a secret, because they didn't want you to know it, you know? And this is just going to be called Chapter 1 Introduction. Chapter 1 Introduction is going to be introducing you into something that they never wanted you to know at all. So, people, grab you something to drink, get you water, get you some pretzels or popcorn, whatever the case may be. I don't care. But hang on, because we are getting ready to take a deep ride. Real shit. Here we go. Chapter 1 Introduction. In our country, the lie has become not just a moral category, but a pillar of the state. Alexander Solzhenitsyn. Is life so dear, or peace so sweet, as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others may take, but for me, give me liberty or give me death. Patrick Henry. You already know his story. For those of you who've been actually doing your research, America today exists in a twilight zone, not a democracy or republic, not yet a police state. America has become an elitist corporate oligarchy. We as a people clearly do not have the freedoms that the so-called founding fathers have envisioned for the future generations. The many cases of government about described in this book are no longer rare or unique. They are increasingly the norm, especially since the late 1960s. Numerous American political activists have been murdered, maimed, framed, kidnapped, bombed, and spied on by the government agents. The agents. We now have camouflage police that look like terrorists, undercover police in schools, curfews, roadblocks, urine tests, and informer networks. Government terrorism against the people continues to grow. While I discuss the secret or invisible government that controls America, I also show how society is changing as the New World Order dictatorship gradually later takes hold. The cultural, economic, social, and political trends that are creating the New World Order are discussed in detail. And this is New World Order according to the lowercase words, not the real one. Because we already know, those of us who believe know that the New World Order will be what? The Messiah. So we ain't gonna play with that. You know what I'm saying? Let them have their little fun, but why they got a chance? Let's see. And back to what I'm saying. And we all the worse off because of this. In the 1930s, the banking corporate elites attempt to establish a dictatorship while their agent Roosevelt was in power. Now, with an out of control intelligence community, the situation is more dangerous. Presidential edicts establish secret laws while Congress has little to say as federal power grows. The dictatorship of the New World Order would be so much worse than Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union because the technology to control people is much more advanced today. The U.S. News and World Report was quite accurate to present an article on North Korea with the caption under the photo entitled New World Order. That type of extreme control is what awaits America. Historians have shown that one reason Hitler took control in Germany was because people were too busy with their own personal and professional lives to get involved in politics. Many felt that if Hitler took power, he would become a good German because his advisors would control him. By the time people awoke, it was too late. A former Berlin businessman blamed his own group of people with the time and money and opportunity to know better for what had happened to him. 2. Treason, the New World Order. Germany. We ignored Hitler. We considered him an unimportant fellow. We considered it just a bit vulgar to bother with him, to bother with politics at all. Quote, in certain aspects, America today is like Germany in the 1930s. In the later days of the Weimar government, key leaders were assassinated, just as in America, George McGovern said, as in Weimar, period. Many people today are angry and distrust the government. As happened in Germany, we have turned away from the Constitution. Hitler introduced gun control, just as is happening today. Our 1968 gun control law is taken almost word for word from the 1938 German gun control law. As in Germany, there are people in America today trying to warn the public that we face a disastrous turn away from the heritage of the people if they don't wake up. Germany had developed culture, so the people did not believe the warnings. In America, we have a democratic heritage, and people are uneducated as to what is happening to our society, partly because of corporate-controlled press. Most people quietly go about their professional and personal lives, not understanding that our way of life is gravely threatened by the coming New World Order. Many readers will read the material and think it's foolish to say a dictatorship is coming. Unfortunately, the cavalier attitude, one may have a reason to say why a republic can be lost. Daniel Webster said God grants liberty only to those who love it and are always ready to guard it and defend it. If everyone sits back complacently, who will protect the republic? Edmund Burke said, all that is necessary for triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Many issues discussed in this book are ignored by the national necessary press. People need to get more involved and study what is really happening in America. Newsweek published a letter from someone after the Congressional Ruby Ridge hearings who said, it concerns me that people I have believed to be paranoid extremists and lunatics may actually have a point. People, today, now more than ever, with the situation that's going on with coronavirus and yada yada yada, we already know, I just put that on my channel to let you know it's a false flag. Yes, they're gonna sit here and mark up numbers and say whatever the case may be, it is what it is. I understand how people may feel about it, but guess what? It's not real. It's not at all. Period. It's a false flag. It's an institution of an implementation of extra and ultra wise governmental policy. That's a fundamental fact. If you wish to go with the whole, it is what it is. That's your choice. But for the few, they understand, they know me, and they hear what I say. When decent people are confronted by evil, it can be difficult for them to accept it. This is one reason why people find it difficult to accept conspiracies, which only means people coming together for an unlawful purpose. A few years ago, the Texas Attorney General visited the place where people have been sacrificed in satanic rituals on national television. The official said he wouldn't believe it except that he had seen it. In World War II, after the Soviet army captured Treblinka, one of the first major death camps to be overrun, Western reporters were brought in. They reported the army captured the Treblinka and gas chambers and mass killings to the west, but it was initially believed it was considered to be anti-Nazi propaganda because supposedly even the Nazis couldn't kill people like cattle. Indeed, normal people have a right to ask, why should people be so thirsty for money and power? It can be a sickness that decent people cannot understand. Some people hear this information, laugh, or they get very upset because it disturbs their perceptions of their so-called reality. If you only get news from the national media, then what I'm reading from will be quite shocking. The truth is so scary that many people don't want to confront it. Patrick Henry said, "It is natural for man to indulge in the illusions of hope. We are apt to shut our eyes against a painful truth. For my part, whatever anguish the spirit might cause, I am willing to know the whole truth, to know the worst, and to provide for it." In recent years, millions of Americans have learned that special interest groups now control the political process and own this country, which I said before. Various banking groups and business leaders, along with rogue elements in the military and intelligence communities behind the scenes, are the dominant special interest groups in America. Many politicians are controlled by these people, sometimes without politicians realizing it. With great power, unlimited funds, occasional threats, and introduction. Numerous contacts, this elite force secretly controls many special interest groups, which actually serve as a front organization. Second, just as many politicians have sold out to special interest groups, there is today in America a systematic avoidance, distortion, and suppression of the news on national media, which today is controlled by a handful of bankers and corporations allied to this corporate elite. While I offer to refer to corporations' book, Behind the Large Corporations and Large Banks, David M. Coates said banks generally control the large U.S. corporations by exerting outside pressure, placing their representatives on the board of directors or through stock ownership. One doesn't have to believe the power of the banking groups to understand that a dictatorship is coming. The bankers and the corporate elite in hundreds of books, articles, and speeches openly write their plans to disarm the U.S. military and end our sovereignty while creating a one world government led by the UN with powerful new army. Much of this literature is being discussed in this book, in this conversation, in this video. Consider the actions of the UN, various U.S. government agencies' current laws, and how they are being enforced against people. Numerous presidential edicts often nullify the Constitution. One of the scary things about this book is that much of the material contained here obtained from reading various newspapers and magazines, or just by watching television. Many of the things discussed in this book accurately portray the frightening detail growing in the trend towards the future society depicted in The Brave New World Order by Alexander Huxley, in 1984 by George Orwell. In December 1978, in The Futurist, David Goodham listed 137 predictions made by George Orwell. Over 100 of them have already come true. Goodman said the possibility of Orwell's 1984 becoming reality is clear. The 1984 has failed a warning. It has come true. It has been succeeding brilliantly as a forecast. In recent years, especially in doing the research for the book, I have noticed over and over again people asking, how could this happen in America? And will keep on happening unless we the people take back. Powerful. Straight. I'll leave you there because I know some people have to play this video back again. And guess what? This is the truth. What's going on today, people, is that this situation is more economic, it's more controlling, it's more domineering, and it's more insidious than you would ever know. If you wish to believe it, it's your choice. If you wish to take the incentive, contact me via email. Agents, don't contact me because I'm not playing with you. But when it comes down to the truth about this systematic oppression, which is what's going on, you had what's his name, Nick Cannon, who came on television, like excuse my language, he came on social media and said, "Hey, listen, the people that so-called run this world, so to speak, commercially, they're savages." Everybody got mad at that, but when they properly display their history on what's that season called? That series called on Netflix called Vikings. What was wrong with what he said? You know, You're keeping it real. Our future has been hijacked. Some of us. But for those who understand and those who interpret the mysteries behind the scenes, then guess what? Your life will be saved. You know, to the real Yehudi, not those so-called Jewish people, but to the real Yehudi, guess what? Let the Creator put the seal on you. Take care of the rest. You ain't got to worry about it. You're good. You're good. You're covered. And for those people who also do want the truth, serious inquiries only. But when it boils down to the fundamental fact that you, who's watching this video, may be in very serious danger, not from me, not from government, but from you not paying attention to what's going on, I bid you well. But for those who understand and overstand and understand at the same time, guess what? We good. We got it. We all right. We good. We're going to rock and roll. We're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen, Captain. And agents, don't hit my email address. Biatch. Y'all take care. Peace. Love y'all. I'll leave my information in the comment description. But remember, there's more forces at work in this world than you know. And yes, if you're not aware of it, your future will be taken from you. Facts.